Jeremy Boots, you're okay with this going on the record?
Yes.
Okay. It's been, 14, 15 years since you've touched the Rodeo Hills development project in Buffalo.
Sure.
So hopefully, with a couple of images, we can refresh the memory. But so just a few questions. So you were one of the original civil engineers that was tasked with creating the water drainage plan for the Rodeo Hills development back in 2005, right?
That's correct. So there had been a conceptual design for the entire subdivision before we got it, and then we took that over and then put together the engineering documents for construction.
Okay, so the developer really needs to say first, here's what I intend to build on the land, and then you as civil engineers say, okay, well, if this is the structure you're putting on, then this is the utilities we need to put in place.
Well, and in this case, the developer, he just knew he wanted to do single family homes. And somebody like basically a landscape architect or somebody like that had kind of looked at that parcel and said, it could be developed this way. Now, we modified that a little bit here and there, but yes. So basically, a developer comes to us with their piece of land, what they want to build, and then they say, please design a grading, drainage, and utility plan for this property. And then the city of Buffalo reviews those plans and approves them.
And these were just part of the original plans. There's your signature, right? Jeremy Boots.
Yep.
So this particular plan from the developer was to do all 35 properties here as slab on grade.
That's correct. And that's what he wanted to build.
So you and your design team design drainage plan based on what structures will be built on the land.
Correct.
Okay. So no basements were going to be constructed in any of these single family homes. So that plan was followed through for the first couple of years of construction, and then the housing market crash happened and construction stopped. But then a couple of years later, new developers came in and proposed to build homes with basements and half basements.
Okay.
So how would, as an engineer, how would that affect the surface and subsurface water flow based on your original plan? But now you know that more than half of the properties will be built with basements.
Well, you would need to, the first thing you would want to do is require that there be a new plan. And then if it was me, I would have looked at the geotechnical report from the area and done some additional borings to ensure that there was not groundwater in that area.
Do you remember that this was, or at least partially, a designated wetland before you came in?
Well, so we wouldn't have been able to. There were wetlands on the site, but like where the homes are and where the roads are, I would say 98% of them were not built on the wetlands. So it was farmland. It had been farmed, and then there were some pockets of wetlands on the property. And as part of the development, I believe there was a replacement plan. Like you said, this was a really long time ago.
Sure.
I believe that there was some minor filling to get a road through, and then there was mitigation to add additional wetland. But for the most part, the only portions that were wetland on this site that were not being farmed and there was a wetland delineation performed. So we had a wetland expert come out and say, this is wetland, this isn't. We avoided those wetland areas as part of our plan and did not build on them. Or I have nothing to do with the building.
Right.
I just do want to make sure that that's on the record, that our grading plan and development plan did not have anything significant in wetlands, on wetlands.
Okay. Well, and again, the long and the short of it is, if anybody deviates from the slab on grade plan and starts to unearth and build basements, you are disrupting that subsurface water flow, which of course affects topsoil and how that water is drained, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and there should be additional research done into what the existing soil conditions are done, even though it's been graded for slabs. So if you're going to put a basement in, there should be additional exploration done in order to determine that there's not going to be groundwater. I will say though that even if there is groundwater and it's known, you can still build basements. It's just that different building techniques need to be used in order to waterproof the basements.